Okay, this is game 8 review, and this one is mostly positive. You guys did an amazing job. First thing I want to talk about is defensive transition. So midfielders, um, we've done a very specific focus saying that our midfielders need to run back. You guys have done a great job at that. So what we've done is said, okay, you're only going to be in there um, for 1 quarter, and then we'll move you to another position. So you can go forward on the attack, but um, as soon as they have the ball, all midfielders have to get behind the ball immediately. You guys are doing that. It's making a big difference in our defense. They're not getting through ball wide open goals anymore. So, the reason that we had to really focus on this is we would have our defense and a player would break through the defense and they'd have a huge amount of space where there was just no defenders. And if they could break through the defense, they would just dribble all the way to the goal. Um, and so we needed to have more bodies back to be an extra line of defense. So our midfielders are doing that. They're crowding the box. One major thing that happened in this game, they scored a number of times. Um, However, each of their scores, we'll use this box here. So they had a shot over here, and we had a defender back, and they got a slight angle, and they were able to make a goal. But the main point is we had a defender in between the forward and the goal when they made that goal. That's all we can ask for. Soccer is a game of probabilities. There's a lot of times where things just happen that, uh, you know, are are improbable, and this is one of them. If you have solid defense, this defender did not lift their leg, meaning that they did not dive at the ball. So we talked a lot about that, where you have a defender running in, um, and our offense is making a stab at the ball with your foot. You're sticking your foot out, and the defender is able to just dribble past you. That's not what was happening here. In this case, our defense was solid. So this last defender kept their feet on the ground, stood in between the forward and the goal, and just acted like a wall. When they dribbled this way, this defender just moved to block. When they dribbled that way, this defender moved to block. It was perfect. They had really good forwards that were trying to like do some fancy move to get an opening, but even that was not what gave them an open shot. What gave them an open shot was just random luck. They happened to have just a few inches, and they were able to get a shot off. But the defense in this situation was exactly what we want to see. It was perfect defense. They never they never had an open shot on goal, meaning that they had a position anywhere inside the box where there was no defense, where the defense was either behind them or to the side of them. We always had a man in between their player and the goal, which was really, really good. Most of that we attribute to two things. One, again, midfielders getting back. Again, I'll use this side of the field. Midfielders getting back when the ball is on our half, um, so that we have the bodies to be able to do this. And then the second is we're not diving at the ball. So it used to be that this defender was so concerned with the ball that they would just go for it, and then they just get dribbled around. I saw one beautiful example, just really, really, really good. So they had one of those forwards who was, really skilled, and we had a defender, and this defender didn't fall for anything. This attacker like did every move in their skill set, and this defender just stood still, bent down. They were lower, so we talked about bending your knees, being lower than the attacker, so they can't beat you. And this player just stood there, didn't move at all. The attacking player got frustrated and tried to do a fancy move and kicked the ball through the defender's legs. And that was absolutely perfect defense, because the defender realized that it doesn't matter. All they had to do was they turn around, they prevent the attacker from getting the attacker from running around them, and now the ball is under our control. And even better than this was like really, really good one-on-one defense. This player did not care about getting the ball. They focused on keeping the player away from the ball. That was their main focus. And another defender behind them, which is really good that we had another defender behind them. We had a second line of support. They came and got the ball and then, made a pass out. This was picture perfect. This was exactly what we're trying to teach, where when you're doing the on-ball coverage, you're not trying to be a hero, you're not trying to steal it, you're just preventing them from making progress, you're delaying, and then let them make the mistake. He made the mistake of thinking, oh, if I just get the ball past the defender, I can recover and get to the ball before them. But that would be true if his objective was the ball. This defender's objective was not the ball. This defender's objective was preventing from this player's body from making it towards the goal. They were blocking the person's body from the goal. That's the objective of this player. So this was just really, really good defense. I think we had maybe I recognized only one time where we stabbed the ball. We tried to get the ball. The defender lifted their foot, and then the attacker was able to get around. That probably happened. Um, I can't even count how many times that happened in, say, like game six and before. But in game eight, this happened maybe two times. So our defense is getting much more disciplined. It's looking really, really, really good. All right, on offense, um, even more good things on offense. So we talked about the pass through. So we talked about where in this case, their defense was pushed up quite a bit. They're being very optimistic. They're trying to attack because they're down. And we're in a position where we have something like this, and our midfielders, we have good positioning here. We have good balance, meaning that we still have defense back. So we're just in this kind of standard formation here. And what we did a lot of is passing into space. So we practiced this on Thursday, and you guys did it flawlessly, where instead of passing this way laterally, you're passing behind the defense, and then this player is able to make a run and get the ball in space. And this delivery on you know on a number of occasions, this delivery was picture perfect. So we talked about don't pass it too short so that the defense can recover and intercept. Don't pass it too long. We maybe we passed it long like once where it makes it far enough that the goalie can get it. The team that we were playing actually did this on a number of occasions. They kicked the ball trying to do this pass through like we do, but they kicked it too hard, and our goalie was able to recover it. That probably happened like five or six times. So our goalie recovers it. We now control the ball and we can push forward. But we weren't doing that. So you guys were making this pass behind the defense. This player was staying onside until the pass. The pass happened. They make the run. They get the ball in this middle area, so behind the defense, but before the box. So this is where the pass needs to go. This player got it and ended up with a one-on-one with the goalie. This happened a number of times. It was really good. The only thing that needs to happen to make this even better is this player. Um, they would run down the field uh, casually, I would say. This run, was really good, but if they had a second attacker where you made this pass and then you ran to support, if they had made that run, we actually did this in Thursday's practice too. If that player that passed the ball had made that run, you would have ended up in this position here, where you have the player that's making the run with the ball, and you have an open pass. So goalie has to commit, and this player can just do a lateral pass, and this player has an open shot on goal. So that's the only thing that we can add to what we're doing with that behind the defense passing. Other than that, it was really positive. We did have one person who kind of struggled to stay on side, but something that was a real testament is that the player with the ball never passed it to them. The player with the ball recognized the offside position and didn't make that pass because that's a turnover. So hold the ball, wait for them to get on side, find another opportunity. That's really what we want. The other thing that I saw that I really like is I can't remember how often we did this, um, but I did see ball protection, meaning we have possession, defender comes, and instead of rushing and kicking the ball away because we don't want them to steal it, so we kick the ball away and we end up passing it to another defender. This happened quite often earlier in the season. So we end up giving the ball away even though they didn't steal it from us. We don't want to be concerned with the defender stealing the ball from us. Um, so much so that we just give the ball away anyway. So in this situation, what we should do, and what I did see in game 8, is protection, turning around, keeping the defender at your back, and not rushing, maintaining possession. If the defender tries to reposition to get around you, just turn, move the ball, keep the defender behind you. We talked about scenarios where you end up, having multiple defenders trying to get the ball, and you're able to successfully keep it away. This is very different than what we saw early in the season, where this this player tried to be fancy with your dribbles and keep the ball away with pullbacks and step overs and all of these fancy moves, which there's a time and place for it, but the easiest way to keep possession of the ball in this scenario is just keep the ball on the opposite side of your body. In this scenario here, the defense has a much harder time getting that ball, and you have all sorts of options. You can pass back, you can go down the line. They're going to make a mistake, and you're keeping the ball rather than just like rushing and kicking it to them. Um, I mean, if in the worst case scenario, we actually had this in a previous game. We're right on the sideline, and this is actually a good position to be in, because you have yes, you have a lot of limited options, but if you are not trying to move, the best scenario here is that the defense pokes the ball out of bounds. So what they want you to do is they want you to rush. They want you to care so much about making progress or getting the ball somewhere that you make a bad pass, or you try to dribble through them and then you lose the ball. But in this scenario, the best thing to do is just keep the ball on the sideline and stand there so that they can't get the ball away from you. The only thing they can do is kick the ball out of bounds. That's the best strategy in this scenario. All right. I don't think we have anything else. In practice, we're going to keep working on those pass throughs behind the defense. We're going to continue to work on our crossing. Our crossing is okay, but what we really need to do is um, we need to work on the trap and kick. So stop the ball, kick the ball. Two simultaneous actions. All right, that's all we got for this week. Great game, guys.